We always pretend to be ready.
Ready is kind of a state of mind. We're sort of ready. Welcome back to Stay Off My Lawn segment 2, and we're gonna jump right into Tim Walz, who is I normally go to him for my wisdom, and because nothing says gritty Midwesterner like tampons in a boys' room. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So
That
anyway,
explains a lot about you if that's where you're going for your wisdom.
he was at the South Carolina Democratic Convention this past weekend, and here's part of what he had to say. I couldn't play it all because I haven't eaten yet.
Here all day.
The dry heaves. It is just really tough. Here's what he had to say
on this. Because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator, it's because he is. It's because he is. Oh. The governor's being mean and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully.
If you're going to try to be meaner, what does that make you? It's,
they have no solutions. That's all they're doing. Any Democrat of anywhere in any newsroom is nothing but attacking Trump.
Yeah,
what's an alternative? Do you have a better solution? I'm ready to listen. No, it's just that no, I'm not listening anymore if you don't have your own solution. If all you're going to do is gritch about it, no,
I'm not listening anymore. La 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 la. Yeah. But he's one of those guys, and apparently everybody else was taken, so they chose the weakest member of the Democratic Party to invite to the convention. We go to our convention this weekend because we're delegate for the state of Georgia. Barbara and I are, and we got Steve Bannon. I mean, think about the difference between Steve Bannon and Tim Walz. Oh my goodness!
He was probably on the clearance rack. And that's somebody they could have afforded.
Pick me. Oh my goodness. He's a year older than I am. And it just makes me feel so old just watching him. Jeez.
I'm not doing anything as a governor. I'll come.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything. We are chock full of tampons in the boys' room. So, I mean, oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, we talk about how impractical switching to solar power exclusively anyway, and not just a backup. But even though the climate nutters love to fantasize about it out loud, that, we can have this, we can have wind and solar and we can make it all work, man. We can make it all work. Anyway, there's this guy, Gerard Holland. He's an Australian. He's the CEO of Prager Research Center in Australia. And he explains how ridiculous an idea this is, at least the way technology is now.
He does a good job.
To power 100,000 homes for 1 hour, you need 50,000 tons of solar panels, about 3,000 AFL fields to power for 1 hour. But of course, that's assuming that the sun is shining. If I want to produce this hour of electricity in the evening when the sun isn't shining, well, then I need batteries. Now, for 1 hour of electricity for this 100,000 homes, you need about 50 Tesla batteries. This is about 2 basketball courts worth of batteries. But of course, I have to charge these batteries. So that means I need additional solar in the grid so that we have an excess to charge them. So we add another 600 AFL fields of solar panels. This is for 1 hour. And then those batteries are fully discharged. If you want 2 hours, another 600 AFL fields of solar panels, another 2 basketball courts of Tesla batteries, and so on and so on and so on.
600 AFL fields, or which would be a football field for us.
Well, AFL, it's the Australian Football League, and it's a cross between
rugby and
football and rugby. Yeah, it's at least they took away the white coats of the umpires that were standing on the goal line when they would. That used to just crack me up with and they would put their arms straight out, not up, just they put them out, and it's like, okay, they scored a touchdown. What was that? Are you ready to go into the lab now? What are you cooking up over there? Yeah, they don't have the white coats on anymore. I happened to run across it the other day and was kind of I was disappointed they weren't there with their white coats. Still doing the same signal, but
Well, if there's an AFL team up in up in the Northern Territories, it's really hot up there. So I would imagine they just didn't want to put the daggum coats on, I would think. Uh, but you got to think for an hour for 100,000 people. Think about a city the size of Atlanta. I live near Atlanta, so there's 8 million people in the metro of Atlanta, or maybe 7 million. So I mean, that's just 100,000, 600 football fields for 100,000 people. Do the math, people. This is just not.
it just is not sustainable with all this stuff you have. You know, I'm out in the West where the Rockies and runoff, and you have all that stuff, and our power comes primarily hydropower. The water runs through, it spins around. They now have means of being able to cool the water down after it goes through a hot turbine that it's turning, and they have ladders for the fish that have figured things out, and yet you still have these environmentalists that we need to blow these dams up. Okay, tell that to the farmers that are feeding us, because when you're in the high desert, if you don't have water, you have nothing will
These
grow.
these nerds that are calling for that kind of thing are they would be lost without power. I mean, that's I mean,
I don't have internet. Why don't I have? Because it's down. There wasn't enough power to run it.
apparently, yeah, they're not thinking about what the true ramifications would be if you blew up all the dams.
Yes,
It's
not the brightest tools in the shed there, boy. That
no,
elevator kind of got stuck, didn't it? At the bottom floor.
yeah, and the bottom between the bottom and the basement, yeah, it's right in that area. I can't get out. Anyway, we did have a bad anti-Semitism attack
Uh,
on Sunday here in America. Boulder, Colorado had a terror attack on Sunday during a peaceful weekly march by peaceful Jewish demonstrators that were all they did was every week now they would get together on a Sunday and advocate for the release of the hostages in Gaza. But this dude, Mohammed Salameen, or I don't know how to say his name, but
close as I'd get.
yeah, so he hurled Molotov cocktails directly into a crowd. Children were caught in the flames. Multiple victims that were seriously injured and are still in the hospital. It was the last thing I had read, and maybe there was an update this morning that I didn't see, so forgive me. But according to three senior DHS sources, the Boulder terror suspect is an Egyptian national, and he is in the U.S. illegally on a visa overstay, who entered the U.S. during, of course, Uncle Joe's administration. So uh,
What a shocker.
I know, just one of the 20 million, I guess. So I don't know. But Scott Jennings summed it up on Jake Tapper's show yesterday, which Jake Tapper let him go. I was really kind of surprised. But here's Scott Jennings, one of my heroes on CNN.
Yes.
I mean, this is horrific. And what more do we need to see, Jake, before we realize this Free Palestine movement is nothing more than a domestic terror organization right now? I mean, we had the killings in Washington a couple of weeks ago. We have this issue in Colorado. We've seen, the activities on college campuses now for months and months and months and months. The rise of anti-Semitism in America, the rise in the number of people who have come to America who hold anti-American views, anti-Western views, and anti-Semitic views and are now willing to act on it. It is absolutely outrageous. And I think as a society, we need to understand we are dealing with domestic terrorism. It's growing more violent by the day. And if we don't deal with it, these kinds of things are going to keep happening in cities all over the place. It's awful. And we need to come to grips with the fight that we're in right now in America, a fight for the future of our country and the future of Western civilization, in my opinion.
Yeah, it continues to get worse. I mean,
Uh,
college.
they are, no offense or whatever, but if it does offend you, well, tough beaners.
Mm.
They're such a barbaric, their thoughts on the way things should be is stuff from like the 1500s. It's like, give me it's
Oh yeah.
just barbaric as all get out. This is what you want to do. And I'm,
Well, their little books tell them that to kill the infidels, and some of them try to say that it doesn't say that, but it really does. So I mean, and that's fine if that's how you feel. I mean, I guess it's just don't call yourself a peaceful religion because
no, you're
that's just
anything but.
um,
They're peaceful as long as you believe what they believe. And in some of these countries, if you are caught worshiping others, you get a chance to redeem yourself. Otherwise, you're executed.
Yep, yep. Unfortunately, Noah Tishby. I've not heard of this lady before, but she's a New York Times best-selling author. She's an actress. She's been on several cop shows here in America. She's also Israel's former special envoy for combating anti-Semitism and delegation. I'm sorry, and delegitimization. She spoke at a global conference a few weeks ago and had a lot to say about this subject specifically.
There is an entire region that needs to be transformed. It needs to be transformed from the inside out. You know who understands what I'm saying right now? Saudis, exactly. The Jordanians. Any country in the Middle East that outlawed the Muslim Brotherhood, that outlawed Al Jazeera to some extent, that understands that that culture is dangerous for them too. What's happening now is not Israel's problem. This is not Israel's problem. It's not the problem of the Jews. It's not even just the problem of the Middle East. What's happening right now is nothing short of a cultural conflict that if we don't wake up in the West to understand that that is what's happening, we're going to be screwed. So here's the thing. Israel is on the front line of a worldwide fight, right? It's a fight between liberal values, whether liberal democracies or whatever it is that we hold dear, things that we see as self-evident, human rights, women's rights, everything that the water we swim in, right? To us, it's very obvious that I'm equal to you. Like, where is the question there, right? When I moved here as a progressive Israeli, I was very surprised and disheartened to see that a lot of Americans don't understand the culture in the Middle East. And they superimpose what it is that they think of American culture into the Middle East, thinking that it's the same. So knowing what the Middle East is, I understood that there's a bigger problem here. And that problem is called jihadism. That is a realization that we need to understand this in America. Okay, we need to understand that that is the kind of culture that we're dealing with. And it's not a culture that can be appeased by land or by, and there's no two-state solution conversation happening around that culture. And sadly, right now, what we're seeing is that that particular culture has more fans and supporters on college campuses in America than it does in the Middle East. And that is something that is on each and every one of us.
So.
Yeah, I mean, she spoke it perfectly.
Yep. Well, and these kids that are on the campuses that are being indoctrinated have no clue what they're even talking about. None. They just haven't got a clue. And the liberal news media, I'm going to blame them as well, because they wouldn't even call this guy a terrorist in our country or an illegal alien. They wouldn't do it. They go, well, we're still investigating. What is there to investigate? There he is. His shirt's off. It's like he's throwing it. What is there you need? And I'm going to blame the news media as well. It really irks me. They are one of the biggest problems we have in this country right now.
I couldn't agree more. And even as much as you and I have read about all this and listened to people, then we couldn't even begin to understand the culture of the Middle East. No. And it's been around thousands of years. I mean, and like you said, I mean, like she said, we couldn't even scratch the surface. And these young kids in college, there's no way they understand it either.
Nope. They haven't got a clue.
All they know is
they think they're smart because they're in college. No, you're not. Trust me. No, you're not.
That's certainly a big part of it. Yeah.
You haven't got the common sense God gave a rock.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, we are up against a break. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit from the ICE director, Todd Lyons, on how the ICE officers have been treated recently. And you're going to want to hear what he has to say. So hang in there. We'll be right back.